Hey everybody, this is Janice Wright from the Fort Cavazos Garrison Public Affairs Office, and we are talking scholarships and how you can get money to further your education. All that and more on this week's episode of the Great Big Podcast. So today we're talking about something that's very important to the Fort Cavazos community, scholarships. And we have someone here who is very well known and very in-depth at talking about that, and we're going to learn more about that. Please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Jenny Campbell. I'm the president of the Fort Cavazos Family Scholarship Fund. And as the president, I oversee, of course, the fund itself, the board members, and fill in as needed for open positions and interact with the community, making sure that everyone knows about the scholarship funds and how best they can support us and how we can support our community.
So I know there's a lot of working parts in keeping the program running. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So we are a rather small board, and most of us do work full-time. We're all volunteers, and the way that we operate is we have a few positions. Of course, I'm the president. You will meet our vice president. She's wonderful, Mel. She's going to be on here next. And then we have a treasurer, and we have our secretary, our grants coordinator, our events coordinator, and we could not do anything without our publicity.
So I know that you guys award thousands of dollars in scholarships to help the military members, service members, veterans, dependents further their education. So how does that come about? How do you keep the funds rolling?
Okay, well, last year, the board for the 2023-2024 school year was able to award $76,500 in scholarships, and those went to 50 high school students and 2 military spouses. And the way that they're able to provide those scholarships to our military families is through generous contributions from our community and grants that we apply for. A couple of our biggest contributors are those who are fellow nonprofits here associated with Fort Cavazos, and that would be the Fort Cavazos Spouses Club and the Community Thrift Store on Post, as well as the Great Place Gift Shop. And our other contributors are within the community as well. So we have all of the contributors can be seen on our website as well.
How important do you think it is for the military community to be aware that there is assistance if they want to go back to school and get that degree?
I think it's crucial. In fact, I field a lot of questions that people write to us and ask us about the availability of scholarships, and I'm always happy to do that. I'm an advocate for military families, and I work in other capacities within the community as well. And I think what is most important is letting our families know that they have a village. And that's why this scholarship fund spoke to me, and why I wanted to get involved was to let them know that, even though you may not have lived here for long, you may have lived in different places, that not only is Fort Cavazos and the agencies here supporting you, but you have a community, and we cover the 6 different counties. So we have a wide reach of impact within our community. So it's not just about what our community is doing for us, but we do a lot for our communities. We contribute in a lot of ways. And it's great to let our families know that they are appreciated. We support their goals. And education, I can't think of a better way to show them with what those opportunities could be.
And how are the funds dispersed?
So we do have a selection committee that our vice president, she is responsible for that portion. She does a great deal of that, and it's members of our community. So we have different school board representatives. We have representatives from the Education Center here at Fort Cavazos. We have the chaplain representative, as well as a retired enlisted service member that sits on that committee, and then those who have made financial contributions also have the opportunity to serve on that selection committee as well. It's blind, so those people sitting on that selection committee, they don't know who they're reviewing when they review those applications. It's all scrubbed so that they're just simply seeing the essays and what their grades might be, their community contributions. That's a big piece of it as well.
And how much can applicants earn?
So in previous years, we've started at $750 all the way up to $5,000 scholarships. And so it really is dependent on the donations that we receive. So we can't ever guarantee that we're able to give out scholarships. It's solely based on the generosity of the grants that we're able to receive and the community members that are able to make those contributions to us. And we are a 501c nonprofit, so we are able to provide any tax information that's needed for those businesses or organizations, or maybe even individuals who might want to make a contribution and support our military families.
Are there any changes to the application process that have occurred from last year to this year that applicants should be aware of?
One of the biggest changes isn't necessarily the process, but who's eligible. So in previous years, we had high school applicants and undergraduate military spouses pursuing their first undergraduate degree. This year, we have added a graduate level category. So those spouses pursuing a graduate level degree are eligible as well, and it's actually a separate category. We're not comparing them to high school students or undergraduate spouses. So those people applying for that would obviously have to have a higher stringent, it is merit-based. All of the scholarship is merit-based. And then for the undergraduate spouse category, the high school applicants have always had the option for trade school and certificate programs. So these are things that are leading towards a career. And now that it's going to be available for undergraduate spouses that may have to reinvent themselves and find a new career. So I'm hopeful, and we're already actually seeing a lot more applicants from spouses than we did in previous years.
Well, that's definitely a positive. If you had one piece of advice to give those who are interested in applying, what would that be?
I would say go ahead and ask the question. So you can reach out to us by email at info@FortCavazosScholarship.org, or you can find us on our socials and send us a message. And just ask the question if you're afraid that you might not be eligible, because sometimes there's some gray areas. We understand that families aren't always ideally both located in the same place. So if you're concerned you're not eligible, or if you have a question, you need clarification, I'd rather you ask the question and not miss out on the opportunity to apply.
Great information, great resource. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
More about the Fort Cavazos Family Scholarship Fund coming up.
You're in the mix with the man who sets the turntables on fire.
Here comes the
I'm literally en route right now, man. Wait, hang on. This song is my jam. All right, so look, tonight we're on Elm Street, right? I'm only about 10 minutes out. And listen, don't worry about Willie, okay? I'm gonna make sure he's there. He's gonna be there. I'm gonna shoot him a text right now, okay? Out.
Sergeant Mathers prides himself in his ability to multitask, on or off duty. Only one problem. Studies show that successful multitasking while at the wheel is not possible. The stats were against him. Reaching for that burger made it 8 times more likely he'd crash. Did you know distracted driving causes nearly 50% of all accidents? All in all, it injures almost 400,000 people a year and kills nearly 4,000. On or off duty, distracted driving is deadly. The bottom line, if you drive while distracted, then you're not driving.
So we're here talking about the Fort Cavazos Family Scholarship Fund. We're here with a representative that's going to tell us all about it. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Sims. Most call me Mel. I am the vice president of the Fort Cavazos Family Scholarship Fund. So my job is to take all the scholarship applications, I process them, and get them ready for our selection committee to judge.
So how does the program work overall?
Our program, the eligibility requirements for the scholarship, you either need to be a dependent or a spouse of an active duty Gold Star, or retiree service member. That's the first requirement. You also have to reside in either Bell, Coryell, Lampasas, Williamson, Travis counties. You have to reside in one of those counties in order to be eligible. And if you are a retired family member or spouse, then your retired service member would have had to have Fort Cavazos as their last duty station for you to retain your eligibility to apply.
Okay. For younger dependents, are there any age restrictions? Are there anything, any stipulations having to do with GPA?
So you have to be a high school senior when you go to apply for the scholarship. So you must be in your senior year. And then GPA requirements, all the judging is blind. So there is no minimum GPA required.
Okay. So I know that the application process is kind of rigorous and it has a lot of steps. So can you take us through those?
Okay, so everything is online on our website, FortCavazosScholarship.org. You can go on there, up on the header, you'll see something that says apply, and just click on it, and it'll show you not only the eligibility, but the application is there as well. In that application, there is a 750-word essay, and we do have 3 separate questions depending on if you are a high school applicant, if you are an undergraduate spouse applying, or if you are a graduate spouse that's applying. So all you do is select which category fits best for you, and then you will submit your essay. We need official transcript as well as the orders or DD 214 of the service member for eligibility requirements.
Where do you see most applicants, where do you see where they can improve their chances of being awarded more money?
They can really improve, especially our undergraduate spouses, and then we have a new category, which is graduate spouses. The essay is the biggest target that I really want to put emphasis on, especially for the spouses, because the essay can make or break, in essence, the amount that may be awarded to you.
How can they really, polish it and make it stand out from the rest?
Okay, so we have 3 different questions. We try to make it a little bit more easier and more focused depending on level of applicant applied, right? So for the high school students, for instance, we've asked them to describe a significant event or experience in their life. And we want to know how it transformed their perspective of how they think of things now. And we want all the details that led them to go to whatever field they're choosing for their future aspirations. So that's their requirement. Typically, it was 1 question regardless of high school or spouse. And so now we're trying to challenge a little bit more by creating these different questions. For the undergraduate spouse now, they have to choose if they could have a dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? Why would you want to have a dinner, with that person? What insight do you think that you can grab from that person? We want details. Explain to us why this person, out of anybody dead or alive you could have chosen, this was why you chose them. And tell us why, and tell us what impact, if any, they've had in your life. Juice up that essay and, really let us know why you're doing this, why you've chosen this particular person. And then for our graduates, applicants, we've asked them to tell us what motivated them for this chosen field and how is it aligning with their personal goals and their future, goals as well, because being a graduate student is dedication. So tell us more about that. Tell us why, what the field was. We would love to know more about that in that essay.
So, and with the essay, you're looking for things like grammar, editing, really being concise and really playing up those themes.
Grammar and editing is important. We don't, of course, put your best into it, but I want you to stay on topic. I want you to keep us engaged. Make us see that you actually took the time and you put thought and effort into the essay question. This isn't the time for you to tell us that, thanks for the opportunity. No, we want you to focus on the question at hand, be detailed about it. Of course, grammar counts, but just make sure that bare minimum, it's the 750-word requirement.
When is the deadline for applicants?
Okay, so the deadline is coming up. It is going to be, well, it is at 11:59 p.m., February 17th.
Wow. So not much time.
No, ma'am, not much time left.
Okay. All right. Are there any changes in the process from last year to this year?
Most so for this year is just try to keep it a little bit more streamlined and more concise for the applicants. We've tried to make it a little bit more easier, again, with everything being completely electronic, even verifying their military status. We have that on Share ID. That is electronic as well, so they don't have to mail in anything anymore like we used to require. We've reached out to various schools as well. Like I know personally, I've reached out to several of the high schools as well as colleges in the area saying, hey, here's the questions ahead of time to try to give people, you know, a good fitting, a good chance to really think about what they have and, you know, for the submission so they can put their best foot forward.
And lastly, before we wrap up, what advice would you give if you had to really say, you know, something short and brief about the importance of preparing and submitting your application for these scholarships? What would that be?
I would encourage everyone to treat this like you would treat any other scholarship application that you're applying for, even for the bigger colleges, collegiate organizations that have it. Put your best foot forward at all times, because remember, the judges, all they get to know who you are is your essay, and then they get numbers in terms of your grades. So your essay is the best way for them to get a really good chance of who you are and understand what's your drive, what's, you know, driven you.
All great information. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Some mishaps are easy to predict and avoid. Others happen when you least expect it. Many people believe ASMUS only comes into play after a mishap. Wrong. It's about correcting problems before the inevitable happens. Identify hazards during an inspection using a checklist based on the Code of Federal Regulation and Army regulations. Then recommend controls. In the hazard module, hazards are tracked on a hazard list. This allows the necessary corrective actions to create a safe workplace. Once a mishap happens, it's too late to use ASMUS to its full potential. General Byram signed the Headquarters Department of the Army Executive Order 175-23, mandating all safety professionals use the first true total Army SOH information management system. We're here to help you train. On the CRC website, go to the ASMUS banner where you will see the available training tab. Here you will be able to register for residential or online training conducted monthly. Please sign up today, because in safety, we have work to do.
Welcome back to the Great Big Podcast. I'm Eric Rodriguez with your Garrison Public Affairs Office, and today I'm hanging out with...
I'm Derica Upshaw with your Fort Cavazos Garrison Public Affairs.
So, Derica, all of that information about the scholarship fund is absolutely amazing information. I understand that they're going to the 17th of February accepting applications. Where can we figure out how to submit that?
Yep, so you can go onto their social media websites, on their website, and they have all the information that you will need on there. It's just incredible how many people that actually can use the scholarship fund, from high school seniors, military spouses, both retired and active duty. As long as you are a part of the Fort Cavazos network and within the counties they serve, you can pretty much get a scholarship, so that's great.
I mean, paying for higher education can be really, really stressful, right?
Right.
So just the fact that the scholarship even exists is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important that you go out and you apply for these scholarships. Paying for higher education can be incredibly stressful, and just having that little bit of relief can be a godsend, and maybe it's just that little bit of extra push that one individual needs to go ahead and accomplish that goal. So again, please get on those websites, go ahead and apply for those scholarships. You never know what could happen. So with that all being said, how was your weekend, Erica? What'd you guys get up to?
It was great. You know, we had my little one, he had his first soccer game, got to play, got to make friends. It was a nice day out, and then the rest of the time we just chill and had family time.
That's awesome, especially when they're young like that, because they're out there just having fun. They haven't got that competitive bug yet, or at least we hope they don't. They don't take it that serious. It's always cute to see the kids running around. I'm not really doing any. I didn't get up to anything crazy myself. I'm just getting stuff ready for turkey season, so that's about it. Well, I'm gonna get out there and go sit in the woods and gobble at some birds. So.
Oh my God, you have to have a lot of patience to do that, to just sit there and wait for something to come. I don't know if I can do that.
Sometimes, yeah, it's a little more interactive with the turkey because you get to use the calls and stuff and make silly noises. And I spend more time laughing at my friends while we're sitting there doing that than actually, hunting the turkey. But it is what it is. It's good to get out there and have a little bit of fun with it. But
is it going to be like a family thing or just a you thing?
So, when it comes to the eating, it's a family thing. When it comes to go getting it, it's pretty much just me. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's always nice to have some alone time, some quiet time, just to be with you and yourself and having fun with wherever you love to do. So
absolutely, I do enjoy being out there, but I do also enjoy saving money at the grocery store. So
that is a plus.
That's why I put meat in my fridge. Well, all right. That's all for today, folks, on the Great Big Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Till next time, take care, y'all.